In this particular video I will be talking about different dimensions of the word self-responsibility. The reason why I picked this very specific topic is because there has been a lot of misunderstanding about this word, and we actually have to realize this word here right now and actually see what it really entails before things get out of hand, which this may be already happening. But nonetheless, I will place this video here in this world for all to see and hear me. Self-responsibility. I've been watching a video where it has been pronounced differently, as for instance self-responsibility, the ability to respond, as here as self. And I've been introduced by this concept by Osho, which had a nice ring to it back then, from the perspective that I was at that point working within the context of energy, seeing how energy works and what I really wanted to manifest within my life, which was not reacting within energy or due to energy, and thus making a lot of fuss about things without it actually having to manifest here in this world, having to happen within this world, and just respond here in a normal way. And we can talk about everything, even when things are not good, but we have an opening to come together and work together again. And that was my point. I wanted to work together with people, being able to work together with people, also seeing why people react within anger towards another person, and also seeing why I would react in anger, for instance, to another person. And I'm standing here as the point of self-responsibility, of saying it's my responsibility to not react as that. It's my responsibility to not make my problem a problem of another being. It's something that I have to sort out for myself. There's a point of self-responsibility, and it's a whole different meaning and a whole different dimension, whole different aspect of the word self-responsibility. So yes, there's self-responsibility, the ability to respond instead of reacting, while there's also the point of self-accountability, being responsible for something. And we have to look then at the point of where is it that we that we won't see ourselves accountable for, or do see ourselves accountable for, and with what reason. The particular thing that has now been seeped into existence, and mostly within religious lifestyles, is the phrase of self-responsibility, working with intent and stuff like that. And in this particular video that I've just been watching, it was about self-responsibility and the self-responsibility to transmute in those moments the bad into good. It was mentioned as transmuting the crap into gold, and I like to give their very direct overview of a problem that really exists within that phrase. It is a phrase of polarity. I won't be going into what polarity actually entails, but I will be going into another thing, which is the existence of our world as it is right now, here today. If we look at our world right here, right now, things aren't that happy, things aren't that loving, things aren't that good, things aren't that romantic. Let's call it that. And we actually acknowledge right here, right now, that we do have a problem. If we have problems within our world, this problem has this world has its problems, and we have our own problems, and we have to take responsibility for every aspect that's existing here right now in this world, as ourselves, and as humanity as a whole, to make sure that we will leave something behind for those who will come next to us, when we will leave this earthly plane and go back to whatever. What we'll be leaving behind will be the product of how we as a whole have been existing. And just as we right here are now coping with what has been gone before us, they have to cope with what has gone before them. And this is a big point which has to be realized as soon as possible, because we at the moment are dealing with a lot of problems which are here because this very existence is how we exist here right now. It's the very product, the outflow, the consequence of that which has gone before us, and which we still are living here right now today. And I'm going to talk about now a different aspect from turning the bad into good, because we are actually in religious lifestyles really talking then about energy. But I'm just going to talk about right now something that is measurable and acknowledged by everybody, and that's survival. If we would take on this world in this picture, you would picture the beginning of existence and where we are right now, and we look at the point of survival. What does survival means? The will to survive. And that has been the very fabric, that has been the very point from the beginning on, which has been lived by generations and generations. And this, where we are right now, is the product of survival. And thus we have been living in a world of survival, which has been also a point of competition, which is an existence of winners and losers. And we should then be seeing that first of all it has been survival within life or death, but through changing our environments and having another environment around us, we have been eventually being able to survive, go into a survival mode on a different plane, which is the mental plane, which is the energy plane, wherein we are moving from the bad to the good, because you know, dying is bad, living is good, and bad things, bad feelings are bad. I don't want that, and good feelings are good, and I like to experience that. But that's just how it always has been. And if you would take that in account, that every generation has done that, and everybody has done that within their own context of what they wanted to bring out in this world, what they find good and what they found the best of everything, that this right here, right now, is the product of those who has gone before us. And that we are now, if we are still saying, yeah, but we have to move from the bad to the good, or transmute the bad into the good, we're still doing the exact same thing. So what we will leave behind is a far more worse place. Because, yeah, okay, that's just common sense, I won't go into that point. But this thing has to be realized, that we should be looking at our participation and see, is this really gonna work? Moving from the bad to the good. Because, just a small example, we see points in our lives where we actually rather do something else, and we do that. Well, instead we should do something else. We can acknowledge a point as ourselves here. If you're listening to this video, you know that you are doing this too, and thus we are all contributing to this problem that exists right here, right now.